Greetings to dignitaries, honored guests, and parliamentarians and fellow. I was part of the Canadian government from 2006 to 2015. I was a member of Stephen Harper's cabinet during this time, and I witnessed then, and indeed since, the state-sponsored terrorism and domestic repression of the Iranian regime. So much was happening at that time on our own soil to intimidate and coerce Iranian Canadians who did not comply with the Iranian regime's talking points and political agenda. Eventually, my colleague John Baird had to close our embassy in Tehran and close the Iranian embassy in Ottawa. Since that time, things have only gotten worse with the Iranian regime's internal repression and external terrorism promotion. This speaks to the total illegitimacy with this regime and the need for international solidarity in rejecting this regime. And of course, I would like to say that there is a democratic alternative in Iran that operates within the NCRI and the MEK, and of course Mrs. Rajavi's 10-point plan. And it is necessary, I believe, for free nations to recognize this clear democratic alternative. The regime in Iran has a number of activities that seek to downgrade or denigrate this positive alternative. They imply a false choice between itself and the defunct monarchy. But of course, we know that this is just a way to prop up the dictatorial and authoritarian regime rather than promote a democratic republic. The gathering this year has been set against a backdrop of some very important events. There is a rising tide of protests and the impact of opposition actions by MEK resistance units in Iran that encourage the people of Iran to voice their opposition to the regime and shatters the regime's air of invincibility and intimidation, which they seek to use to denigrate the morale of people who wish to confront this regime. The Khamenei Raisi regime today symbolizes a retrenching and a weak regime. It finds no remedy but to suppress its people, especially women, and is at the height of its political, internal, and social isolation as the people resist and fight back. Externally, it has not found the capacity to agree to a watered-down nuclear deal that is on the table and has pushed the talks, these nuclear talks, to a dead end and really put itself in a corner. It is isolated on the world stage. And really, it is threatening the security, the world's security. The Iranian regime has targeted dissidents in exile in a bid to shut down the voice of the Iranian resistance. Really, the time has come to heed the aspirations of the Iranian people and the resistance's call for this regime's end. The world would be a better place if this regime is replaced by a democratic republic in Iran. It is the aspiration and work of the Iranian people to see this, and we can say with certainty and with a high degree of confidence today that the democratic alternative to this regime is here in the National Council of Resistance of Iran and the MEK, and obviously those organizations share our democratic values for a free society based on universal human rights and political legitimacy based on popular suffrage and the rule of law and the separation of religion and the state. So these are worthy aspirations. Of course, it's for the Iranian people to decide these things, but they deserve to have this choice. And it is clear that Iran will not remain under a religious dictatorship. It's becoming clearer and clearer. And Iran will not go back to another dictatorship of the past, as it was with the monarchy, which it has obviously rejected for clear reasons. Iranians are struggling to move forward to the future, which is a free, a democratic, secular, and non-nuclear republic that they have so dearly paid the price for in thousands upon thousands of lives. And now we in the West, in the US, Canada, Europe, Australia, and other liberal democracies, we must finally give due recognition to the Iranian resistance, the NCRI, and the MEK, led by Madame Rajavi, and her vision for a future free Iran, as outlined in the 10-point plan. Let me say in conclusion that I want to salute the resistance units in Iran with great sacrifice, and they risk for themselves and their families that they want to rise up and pave the way for the voicing of protests against this regime. Their resistance is what will guarantee liberty and the downfall of this very terrible regime. We wish everybody well. Certainly from my perspective as a former Canadian cabinet minister and someone who cares deeply about the future of the Iranian people, my voice will never be sacrificed or will be stopped in voicing my support for the resistance and for a future free Iran. Thank you very much.